Action.
Okay, aloha kako, and good morning. Hope you and your ohana are doing well, and mahalo for joining us today here at Kapolei High School. We're in the Teachers Lounge, and that's for you folks who are here in person as well as those who are online. Glad you could join us from Zoom land. I'm Mike Gabbard, the state senator from District 21, representing District 21 since 2006. Includes Kapolei, Makakilo, Kalailoa, Honokaihale, and then also portions of Eva. Let's see here. I have been the chair of the Agriculture and Environment Committee for the last 8 years in the Senate. So if you're interested in farming, please contact my office and I'll be able to connect you with some people who can help you. Always recruiting for farmers because we don't have enough of them. And for our first timers, our community meetings start promptly at 9 and finish promptly at 10. And so if we don't cover an issue or a concern that you have, just please send me an email or give us a phone call. And first, I'd like to introduce my 3 staffers. Meg, my office manager since 2014, is managing our Zoom from home. Morning, Meg. Sorry to wake you up on a Saturday morning.
That's okay. Good morning, Senator.
Okay, and then we have Nanook in black over here. She is my part-time community liaison who's been with me since last September. And then finally, we have Leah, and she is my new full-time legislative assistant with me since last session as my committee clerk, and she'll be assuming that role again this session. And which, by the way, begins January 15th, which is also the same day that I'll be celebrating or lamenting my 77th birthday of my body on January 15th. Don't forget that, girls. Okay, and so yeah, as we usually do, we'll start off with our guest speaker, who is Lee Tokuhara. She's the Vice President of Government Affairs and Community Relations for DR Horton Hawaii, and she'll provide a history, overview, and update on Ho'opili. And then after her presentation, we'll have time for Q&A, and then I'll give a brief community update and hopefully some time for more Q&A. And again, if you don't get a time, if we don't have enough time for you to address your question or concern, just follow it up with email to my office. So, Lee, with nearly 2 decades of experience, Lee Tokuhara has returned to DR Horton Hawaii as Vice President of Government Affairs and Community Relations. In her new role, she will oversee all government affairs, community relations, and communications for DR Horton Hawaii. Lee previously served as DR Horton's Hawaii's Director of Communications and Community Relations, where she helped to bring Ho'opili to fruition by spearheading community outreach efforts, working with stakeholders, and developing community-based programs. Her commitment to Hawaii's families spans beyond her professional experience. In her spare time, she's a volunteer board president for Weed and Seed Hawaii, which is a nonprofit focused on creating vibrant, safe communities for future generations. So mahalo for joining us this morning, Lee. Morning, Lee. Good morning, Lee.
Thank you, Senator Gabbard. Good morning, everyone on Zoom and here in person. Okay, hang on. How do I see my, 1 second. Do I just click back to this and then you guys will follow?
Yeah, so if you're able to just say like next slide,
Okay.
so that way we know when to
Okay.
change.
Got it. All right. Well, thank you for having me. It's super exciting to be here to provide a little bit of background on Ho'opili, how we got to today, and kind of give you an update on what's happening within the community. This first slide is just a small sample of some of our newest homeowners at Ho'opili.
Lee?
Yes?
We can't see your slideshow. Are you sharing your screen?
Thank you, Meg. Can you see it?
Yes, we see it now. We just need you to go into presentation mode.
Can you see it, Meg?
Yep, perfect.
Okay. Okay, thank you for your patience. We'll start over. Just a sampling of our newest homeowners at Ho'opili. Look carefully, you might know someone. We're super excited that a lot of these folks in particular are first-time buyers. And as we go through the presentation, you'll see that that's really been our company's focus for the history of not just Schuler Homes, but D.R. Horton. Next slide. So who we are. In 1973, Jim Schuler began building homes in Hawaii under Schuler Homes Hawaii. He did that until the company merged with D.R. Horton, who at that time and still today is America's largest home builder. And so over the last 51 years, we've built over 15,000 homes across the 4 major islands of Oahu, Maui, Hawaii Island, and Kauai. Currently, we are only on Oahu here at Ho'opili, but truly we are home builders at heart. Our primary focus, as I had mentioned in the first slide, is that first-time buyer, providing affordable and workforce housing. D.R. Horton Hawaii, although our corporate office is in and from Texas, D.R. Horton Hawaii is a local company. 57 of us make up the company here. Everyone's on Oahu. About 30% of our team lives in a Schuler home or a D.R. Horton home. And about the same number, the average tenure is about 15 years or more. So as a team, we are extremely committed because we're basically building homes for and communities for ourselves. So when we think about what we would want to see and what we envision as housing for local families, it's really the makeup of our own company. You can go to the next slide. So high level highlights about Ho'opili. I think everyone knows where it is, but basically it's the large parcel between Ewa, Kapolei, and Waipahu to the east side. H1 borders it at the top, and then we come all the way down almost to, where the road that the Kroc Center is on at the bottom. So it's about 1,550 acres. It's planned for 11,750 residential homes. And this includes everything from traditional single family to more dense product and multifamily residences, several million square feet of commercial space. And this is something that I know the senator likes is our commitment to keeping at least 159 acres in permanent agriculture.
Standing ovation.
And actually, you were extremely instrumental in helping us, get to that number. We have urban and community gardens, and IMX, or industrial mixed use area within Ho'opili. There are 3 stops and stations along the rail line. So the first is the Kroc Center, the second is UH West Oahu, and then the third is named the Ho'opili Station, which is actually right in the community next to Farrington Highway. In the future, there are plans to do a special district TOD or transit-oriented development. We have 94 acres set aside for the Department of Education. So this will include 5 schools, 3 elementary schools, a middle school, and a high school, all within the community. And so once the schools are built within Ho'opili, it will become its own complex within the Kapolei-Ewa district. And we all know schools are sorely needed as the population continues to rise and to accommodate more students. We have 3 parks totaling 45 acres that will be turned over to the city and county. But in addition to that, many smaller private parks that will be maintained by the community association. super proud and excited to say and announce that the Hawaiian Humane Society has been at Ho'opili for a year now. I think they opened last summer. So 5.5 acres for their first ever campus outside of their original Mo'iliili campus. And they provide full services from adoptions to other types of services for pets. We are held to a 30% affordable housing requirement. And just some rough numbers, for affordable, as designated by the county, affordable homes for sale are targeted for those families and individuals making between 80 and 120% of area median income. And then the rentals cover an even larger demographic from 30% to 80% of AMI. So currently our sales price ranges from the mid 400s all the way up to our more contemporary and single family homes in well over $1 million. But if we look at the spectrum, we're targeting families who earn between 30% and 200% of area median income. So basically there's a home for every family. Do the next slide. The timeline, and the senator can attest to each of these milestones. It's been a long process. D.R. Horton acquired the land in 2005. It took us 7 years to get through the State Land Use Commission process of the entitlements, and then 3 more years after that to get through the city and county approvals for permitting. So in 2015, we finally got approval to start construction. And at that same time, we started infrastructure design. In 16, we started the site work and moving dirt. And in 2017, we started construction on our first homes. And July 17th, 2017, moved in our very first family, the Daytalks. And there's a picture of Mr. Daytalk with one of our employees. And it was a truly historic day because by the time the Daytalks moved in, it had been years of working at trying to bring Ho'opili to fruition. Fast forward to today, over 2,800 families call Ho'opili home. And if we do the math, it's 19 years since the company first bought the land. Fast forward to 20 years from today, we are hoping the last home will be built and delivered. So in about 20 years, we expect Ho'opili to be completely built out. Our infrastructure commitments, I will not go through every bullet point in this slide, but I think the point here is we're not just building homes. The requirement for D.R. Horton, we're really building a city from scratch, so to speak. So everything from sewer lines to providing water, working with the city to provide a temporary park and ride for the rail stations. There's a lot of work that goes into making a community work. So we're not just building homes, but we are building all the infrastructure and all the utilities to support those homes and businesses. So to date, we've completed the first 9 of 18 development phases. These numbers next to each phase number, I'm sorry, you can go to the next slide. And click through one more time. Okay, so the numbers next to the phases listed are just kind of the unit counts. So you can see phase 2, we included our multifamily homes, so the number increases. Phase 9 is that IMX subdivision, so that's Malka of Farrington, where it will be like industrial mixed uses. We're about a quarter of the way done. So if we do the math, 2,957 units is about a quarter of the total number, the 11,750. And this map is very busy, but it basically shows us in what order we're phasing the entire project. Go to the next slide. This is just one more. Oh, hold on. Okay, sorry. Back one. Thank you, Nanak. So we offer everything from, again, that's, traditional single family home to homes with ADUs, executive homes for single family type buyers, to the more multifamily product, which are townhomes, condos, and we actually have now a 4- and 5-story set of buildings that are stacked flats, and those are 1 to 3 bedroom unit types. And I'll go through these actually in more detail coming up. So these are photos and images of some of the single families that we've been doing. Next slide. An interesting concept we were able to bring to market is the single family with the option to build an ADU. So some of the families are using it for either an elderly parent or a young adult child who might still be living at home, or as even a rental property. So these come with a full kitchen, bath, and laundry. It's completely separate entrance from the main dwelling. These grow homes were an interesting product type for us. They're by design, kind of going back to the older style post and pier type of architecture. And we call them grow homes because families within their plans have the option to build out and expand on the original home. Our multifamily condos, we have, townhomes, 2 and 3 stories. You can click through, more multifamily. So the bottom right image is Nahele, and that's our newest condominium. It's an elevated building. And then each unit comes, of course, with parking. Some units come with actual covered garage parking. And so that's the homes. But then if we click through, we'll see some of our commercial opportunities. So when we talk about commercial spaces at Ho'opili, it is everything from purely commercial retail type office spaces all the way to live work units. And we can click through that we've named them like live work flex units. So the idea here is it's a townhome, either 3 or 4 stories, 2 or 3 stories, with the bottom portion of the home being able to use for either some kind of business, a retail operation. We have all kinds of examples. There's a yoga studio. So the yoga studio is on the bottom floor, ground floor, and the owner lives up top, the next 2 floors up. It doesn't have to be used for commercial, but it's zoned for such if one chooses to. And these also come with, extra parking in the event that they want to use it for commercial space. These Z units are different, a little different than the flex homes because you can either live in it or work in it. So it's either residential or commercial, and the roll-up doors make it, just interesting by design. There are a couple folks we do know who live in the units, and so they're basically very large studios, but others who use the space for inventory and storage and actually commercial storefronts. You can click through. Thank you. Integrated commercial uses. All kinds of small businesses already opened at Ho'opili and a number coming up. Everything from med spas, hair salon, the yoga studio, a boba place, Domino's Pizza opened up, and coming, an optometrist, a dentist. As far as I know, there is an insurance company, State Farm. It has an office there. So all kinds of services and products, not just for those who live within Ho'opili, but the greater region. We are fully committed to sustainability, and again, thanks Senator Gabbard for just supporting us along the way in this area. With complete streets all throughout the community, 12 miles of multimodal pathways. Our sidewalks on the major roadways are 10 feet wide, and this is to accommodate bicyclists and pedestrians at the same time. But there are also designated bike lanes on the roadways within Ho'opili. So just some interesting kind of total mileage of the different modes of transportation. 100% of our single family homes are electric vehicle ready and photovoltaic ready. About over a third of the multifamily condos are EV ready, and some of the other kind of sustainability aspects to the single family homes. And interestingly, there's a lot of construction material, right? And asphalt. I mean, it is a city we're building, but we've also planted over 8,000 trees. So there is, in addition to everything that's being built from an infrastructure standpoint, a lot of open green spaces, and the trees certainly help that cause as well. Our commitment to agriculture, no, you can, thank you. As I had mentioned at the start, we've committed to keeping at least 159 acres in permanent active agriculture. So we have a few farming partners that continue to farm there today. Edible gardens in our single family lots. Every single family home comes with at least a planter box to grow some of their vegetables and fruits, and then a couple of fruit trees. So we've tried lemon, limes, I think oranges, different fruit trees that can take the Eva and Kapolei sun. But this is an interesting concept. And I think when we were first planning Ho'opili, the idea was that, neighbors would grow their trees and share with each other, because not every house has the same type of planter box or fruit tree. And I've heard stories just anecdotally that is in fact happening, where not just in the single family properties, but also in the parks, we have a couple ulu trees growing. So we're encouraging residents to not be farmers if they don't want to, but at least have the option to grow at least some of their own fruits and veggies and herbs. We're planning our first shared community garden. It's going to be called the Herb. And that is more designed for folks living in the condos and townhomes where they might not have, the yard space to grow their own planter box, but shared community garden spaces. So we're super excited about that. That's in planning now. We do an annual urban learning fair, which I think Senator attended at the bottom. So that's exciting because residents can learn, everything from how to trim your trees to what might work in terms of growing well in this environment. And then on a quarterly basis, we do workshops with different partners like CTAR and other businesses who are in ag. Our commitment to active living, I think I already mentioned, wide multi-use sidewalks to accommodate bicyclists and pedestrians, strollers. we did an event a couple years ago where the community got together and did a fun run and ended with a fitness fair. So these are photos from that. The photo on the bottom is the Pearl Fitness Park. So that will be, it's still being developed, but it will be a little park with those, what do you call it? The circuit training stations. Yeah. And then our commitment to health and wellness. Lots of neighborhood parks. We have a community center now that folks can rent out to have their first baby luau or other gatherings. There's a pool that everyone loves. Temporary soccer fields on the future DOE middle school site. A dog park. A bunch of tot lots with play structures for toddlers and younger kids. And coming soon, it's not quite open yet, but in honor of Jim Schuler, we're going to be opening a neighborhood park called the Jim Schuler Pa'ani Park. And that has a couple basketball courts and pickleball courts. And then we just put this in, but we do a blood drive every quarter. Our commitment to community. Now that we have all these families living there, you know, everyone wants to be part of something and they want to get together. So we've helped to support through the community association various events. We did a sign waving with Mothers Against Drunk Driving, just to remind folks to keep their speed, safe. There's a lot of kids and families in the community. A fall open house, and we have another one coming up. Our customer care department puts together these fun videos, fun and informative videos, I should say, reminding and educating homeowners on how to upkeep their homes. So everything from recaulking to power washing, their siding. And we actually have purchased a couple of power washers for them to use to upkeep and maintain their homes. This next slide is long, but super important and critical. We actually I said I'm going to list Senator Gabbard first because he's been with us the whole time. And we as we went through the entitlement process, we could always count on him for one, his honesty, keep us on track with everything we wanted and the community wanted. So thank you, Senator, for really being our voice of reason and providing guidance in many areas as we plan the community. And then allowing for opportunities like this. I think I did a talk story many years ago. I think then you were doing it at Mehana. But other community events as well, right? So to keep us in touch with not just those who live in Ho'opili, but the greater region. So, we have to be a good neighbor to Ewa and Kapolei and Waipahu, Makakilo. And so that group is, community leaders and community at large. But this is a list of, and it's not even a complete list of really everyone who's worked with us and continues to work with us as we continue to build out Ho'opili. This is a side-by-side of two aerial views of Ho'opili in 2016 before we started anything to last year. So you can see it's quite a visual and it's quite impactful on what we're doing. And then our last slide, more happy homeowners. Again, a lot of first-time homeowners, lots of families with young children. And we're excited, we're proud of what we've done so far and really looking forward to what's coming in the future. So I'll take any questions or comments.
Are these fee simple or leaseholds?
The for sale are all fee simple. We do have rental partners, so mutual housing is our rental partner. So they build it, but they manage all the sales stuff for sale stuff is speed.
Be simple.
Yeah.
I would just ask if you have any questions, you wouldn't mind just coming up and sitting in the chair here, that way the folks who online can hear. Do you mind? Thank you.
Hi, Rose.
I live in Makakilo, and traffic is terrible, especially if there's an accident or something. And with all these people moving in, what's going to be done to keep it from being even more terrible when things happen? Because now, I think it was last week, Wednesday or something, it's like I couldn't even get on the freeway. So I went back home.
Hmm.
Is Farrington Highway going to be widened? Are you guys going to be part of that? And what are you going to do? I mean, the freeway is as big as it's getting, I guess. So what's going to be done to keep traffic from becoming a nightmare?
No, that's a good question.
And I'll actually address that
Okay.
afterward.
Oh, okay. Do you want to go
Anything you
first?
wanna add?
Oh, no, yeah. So we do have plans to expand Farrington Highway. That's a big project because there are several landowners who currently own Farrington. So we're coordinating with them already. So it's city and state who we have to work with to widen Farrington. I think bigger picture, the idea for Ho'opili is to have enough services, schools, that folks don't have to get in their cars to go on the freeway. And then the other tie-in is, once rail becomes fully operational, it will give folks who live within Ho'opili a much easier and more convenient way to get on the rail to town and, stops in between. So that's a longer term view. In the shorter term, it is expanding Farrington and then I think some improvements to the freeway as well.
Yeah, because I don't think it's still 2 lanes right now. And
It's-
whenever you do a construction, it goes down to 1 lane.
It does. So the temporary, I guess, while we're trying to fix the problem, right? So the part of the solution, it will maybe cause even a little bit more traffic in the short term, but in the long term, Farrington will become, I guess, 4 lanes,
Yes.
right? Yeah. So go ahead. Oh, I think Senator also has part of the
Yeah.
answer.
Done. Anyone else? Yeah, okay, there's another. Yeah, please go ahead.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Svea Bruckberg. I've lived in Makakilo many years. My main concern is always hurricane protection. Can you please tell us, for everyone's information, what the top speed is that you have put in protection to both the single-family homes and the condos? And also, what insurance do most of the owners carry? And are they considered under the condo vastly increased prices that have recently occurred? Does your company advocate for certain insurance companies?
Okay. I'm sorry. Is it Farah?
Svea,
How do you spell it?
SVEA.
Svea, sorry. So I don't have the answers to your questions, but I can find out and we'll report back if Senator, you can share back. But so, yeah, I wrote them all down and I will get answers for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
My name is Bob and I live in the district. And I've been out there a lot, driving around. I have a friend that's interested in moving out there perhaps, right?
Mhm.
So I spend a lot of time working with youth in the district here.
Mhm.
And like every parent, we love our kids. And I would just suggest that you do as much as possible as a company to bring in organizations like Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. I actually represent the Civil Air Patrol,
Mhm.
low-cost organizations that you will help collaborate with to help reach out into the community for the kids. Because the kids are we're all needing to support our children on the island as much as possible. And I think it's a really great way. So if, as an organization, either they can reach out to you or you can reach out to different organizations to kind of support them, because you have a community center there. And a lot of times people just need a place to meet that they can afford, because they're all nonprofits. So I would suggest that. And as far as my position, Civil Air Patrol, I'm Aerospace Education Officer. It's a nonprofit that's free for the kids. It's done great work in the district with the youth and with the families. And I would love to have contact with you so we can see whatever we can make happen there.
Absolutely.
It's a great program to reach out to kids and very involved with the families. But there are many organizations, and the more that you do with that, I think the better it's going to be for the community, because it's going to support the family and the kids, and it's going to keep them in the community too. So I just want to hear your comments about that. And
No, I think that's a great idea. For a long time, we worked with Civil Air Patrol with Rich
okay,
as kind of we went through the approval process. But yeah, we're totally
connect
open
with
to partnering and
okay. I'm
connecting
an officer, so I
connecting
can,
you with the right people at the community association level
okay,
and also with Dear Horton. Absolutely.
perfect.
Yeah. So we'll talk after. I'll
Yeah,
get your
and
contact.
I want to say thank you to Senator Gabbard for his support too in that area, working with the kids in the community.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Big hand for our chief.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay.
I did have and Lee, you're welcome to stick around.
Oh, I'm gonna grab coffee.
Yeah, great. Yeah. But since Lee brought it up, I got elected first to the Senate in 2006. So I think 2005 is when you guys purchased your land. And I just want to share a quick little story with you, because shortly after I got elected, one of my constituents in Makakilo invited me up to his home and said, I'm totally against this new thing they're calling Ho'opili. And he took me out on his lanai. And he said, they're going to build it right over there. You see Diamond Head? You get where I'm going? My view plane is going to be ruined by all those homes. Therefore, and I said, okay, I got it. And I was just thinking about what kind of struck me was just that here we are in the second city. And yes, you have a nice home up here and looking out over you don't want anything to ruin your view plane. But then I just started thinking about all these families that are looking for a home. And in working with Dear Horton over the years, that was in the back of my mind and in my heart. That's what I was thinking about the whole time. And they were always very accommodating. And when I became chair of the Ag Committee, the fact that they've got what they're doing, right, it's just been so I applaud them. And for the record, I do not accept any contributions from unions, businesses, lobbyists. But I just wanted to get an update from it. I really appreciate you being here, and just so nice to see that. And again, when you look at those families, right? And that's what it's about, is giving the options that you have are just really good. Anyway. Okay, so. All right, so we're going to get into community updates. Where's my phone here?
Senator?
Yes.
Is Lee staying? Is Lee?
Lee, are you staying to the end of the meeting?
Yes.
Yeah, she is.
Okay, I just wanted to get a group shot. Thanks.
Okay,
All right,
sure.
I'll go ahead and share your presentation. 1 second.
Okay. So we're at slide 4, right? Or 3, 4? Okay. All right, so as you probably saw when Lee was giving her presentation, they are in fact celebrating their 20th anniversary, their first anniversary this past last month. And they also have, if the Kosasa Family Campus of Hawaiian Humane Society, if you're interested in adopting a pet, They're currently waiving all the adoption fees up until September 10th. And so if you're thinking of adopting a pet, now is a good time. And if you cannot adopt, then you can still help by fostering. They've got a couple of programs called the Couch Crashers and also the Lap Crashers. And that's where you can adopt a dog or a cat for 1 week, 2 weeks, takes them out of there and helps them. And then, anyway, go to their website for more details. Next, Ka'ulu. So Ka'ulu by Gentry Homes, they're right in Kalailoa, just down the street from where I live. And it's also next to the Akaka VA clinic, right by Costco on Roosevelt and Kupahe'e Avenue. So it features 390 new homes with a mix of single family, townhome, and affordable price homes. It's a green community, sustainable, energy efficient, and yeah. So right now, the latest update we got was that 59 out of the total of 71 homes that are done have been released for sale. Next is the Daniel Keakaka State Veterans Home. And that's the one that's located in Kapolei across from Walmart. It's 120 beds, long-term care nursing facility with single occupancy rooms. The support facilities includes rehab rooms, therapy rooms, kitchen, dining, laundry, pharmacy, adult daycare, and admin offices. And they are, the construction is almost 100% complete. It'll be done later this summer with the first patient intake in the first quarter of 2025. Next, Honokea West. So this is a $106 million project. It's a proposed sports training and wellness facility for all ages. It's located along Coral Sea Road near the Kalailoa Airport. The key controversial figure in this project is a 5.5 acre artificial wave lagoon that's surrounded by a man-made beach. And the future of the project at this point remains uncertain because the judge denied their environmental assessment, their EA, on May 29th. So now the developers are considering whether they're going to apply for a new one. Some of the local communities and cultural advocates are arguing that the development threatens culturally significant areas and that require high water consumption during a water crisis. And the owner, you might have heard of him, is Brian Keaulana. He envisions the surf village as a way to boost the economy and showcase Hawaiian culture. So it'll be interesting seeing. The project is on hold for right now. And then we have next 400 acres at Kalailoa. You may have seen the news that the city and county, they acquired 400 acres of former Barbers Point Naval Station land. The transfer has been in the works for decades as part of the Kalailoa Master Plan. And so the city has finally taken title to the 400 plus acres. It falls under the City Department of Parks and Recreation. No timeline now for permitting activity on the parcels right at this point, but I'm in close touch with the Director of Parks and Rec, former Senator Laura Thuman, and she's keeping me up to date on the project. And she expects it to be supported by the upcoming city and county budget. And there's some excitement, especially in this room from certain folks about many opportunities, including a racetrack for cars. And maybe sometime we could have a speaker, we could have Lee, who's been very involved with that.
I got the map about the cars specifically.
I may have you as one of my guest speakers so you can go into detail, because I think there's a significant number of community members that would be interested. So despite the challenges, there is support from city officials and the Navy and local representatives. Next, Haku Kapolei. This is affordable and rental. You can see right there in the right-hand corner where the red is, that's the Daniel Keakaka State Veterans Home, Farrington Highway, and then Walmart's on the other side. But that area right there next to the Veterans Home, is that where this project is? It's up to 900 homes and one of the largest remaining undeveloped properties in the village of Kapolei. It's the 19.4 acre property. Let's see here, my notes.
Who owns it?
It's located at Farrington Highway at Fort Barrett Road. Scheduled to be built in 3 phases. Phase 1 is 344 rentals in 2 multifamily buildings. Phase 2 is 376 units in 2 multifamily housing buildings, along with 95,000 square feet of commercial space, anchored by a grocery store. The rental units will be priced for those households earning 30%, 50%, and 60% of the AMI or below. And the partnership also proposed adding 130 more units through a higher density alternative. And then phase 3 is 50 for sale units in 9 3-level fee simple townhome buildings. And the full build out they're expecting in April of 2033. And they are expecting their permits to be granted in July of 2026. So it's off 2 years away. And I know there have been some people are weighing in on the project now, but it's important during this time though to check it out, kind of like what I did with Ho'opili, right? Instead of just being, I've talked to some friends, other legislators totally opposed to it. I think it's incumbent upon us to look thoroughly at the project and weigh the pluses and minuses before we make a decision. So, which is what I'm doing as well. And then next slide, road updates. This is one that's near and dear to my heart and my home. And that is, as of just a few days ago, the Mauka half of FDR, you can see it there, of Roosevelt Boulevard, right? So you see there up at the top, and to the left of that, that's Kamakila Boulevard, which will go to the courthouse and Costco, right? And then if you look over at the right where it says Kopohe'e Avenue, that's Barbers Point Elementary School. And then in the corner there, you can see that's the Veterans Clinic. And then right next to the Veterans Clinic, that's Ka'ulu, which I talked about a few minutes ago. That's where that development is. So they're turning that 2-lane into a 4-lane highway, if any of you have been down that way. And it's been very frustrating for those who live in that area because it seems like it's taking forever. They've got all the trees planted, the grass is growing. And it would be nice to have the 4 lanes there between Kamakila Boulevard and Kopohe'e. So we just heard back from them and they said, HECO, they're waiting for HECO to turn on the streetlights. That's the holdup. And they can't open up until HECO does their job. And they're saying it's going to take 5 to 7 weeks before they turn on electricity or the lights. So can you make a note of that? That we'll be calling them and asking them to what their progress report on their. Okay. And then next slide. And this was brought up, the Farrington Highway widening, and this starts Kapolei Golf Course all the way to Fort Weaver Road. They were supposed to start August 15th. A couple days ago, I've not been over there to see if they've started. And the start of construction, it's pending the following. They have discussions with HECO regarding the construction of their poles within there, et cetera, and coordinating with other elements on the project right of way with HECO. So that'll be good. And then as far as that's it, now I'll open it up to Q&A. We have a few minutes left for any questions that you might have. I did want to bring up Makakilo because you asked about Makakilo. In fact, I'm hoping that, did we get, Meg, did we get approval from Kapolei High for our next meeting yet? For the 28th?
She just texted me. She's going to find out on Monday.
You'll find out on Monday. Okay. So in September, we're going to approach those who are specifically Mick Ferreira. He is the chair of the Neighborhood Board Transportation Committee. We have been in deep discussions about the Makakilo Drive extension, also called Makakilo Drive completion. I've been up there. I know I've been down the emergency road that they've used sometimes. I think a couple of months ago, there was horrible traffic on H1 and they opened up the emergency road and hundreds of cars were going down that backside, single lane by the quarry to get onto H1. So that's basically what the Makakilo Drive extension, it's also being called completion instead of MDE, is being called MDC since it was already started and promised to the community. You have about 18,000 folks that are living up in the Makakilo Drive, one way in, one way out. You start getting into possible wildfires, possible anything, emergencies like that, then what are we going to do? So I really want these guys, Mick in particular, and some of his other folks he's been working with, because they'll give all the details on exactly where we are in terms of getting that road started and completed. Yes.
Saying there's a meeting coming up? What did you say, something about September 28th?
Oh, that's our next community meeting. I'm thinking about having them as being the guest speaker and going into detail. So just keep in touch with the office and I'll let you know. Yeah. So super important. Yes. Sure, please. Yeah, if you just come up next time, I promise you, we will have a mic for the audience. We'll pass around. Yes.
So I'm not sure if this is in your purview, but like she touched upon it about the homeowners association insurances skyrocketing. And I know that I think they tried to introduce a bill last session. And so I just wanted to bring that to your attention, hopefully.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
we'll do our best. And any input that you have, any ideas on that, the increase in the homeowners association, because as you can imagine, it's affecting a lot of folks. And then, leave it with me and then we'll go from there. Okay. You have that? Yes.
My name is Spare Bruckberg. I've lived there in Makakilo since '82. I have a single family home there. Plus I have 2 rental townhouses in Makakilo and a studio in Pearl Ridge Sport. Unfortunately, not enough people read the newspaper. Star Advertising has done a fairly good job, not as good as they should, but not better than anybody else, in explaining to the public what's going on in terms of the insurances. I have at Pearl Ridge Square, just to give you an idea, 44-story concrete building. We just had a 400% increase in our insurance costs. This is a concrete building that is no threat from wildfires, hurricanes, or much of anything else, because we're not going to have an earthquake at the top of the 44-story building. What most people don't realize is everyone who lives in a condo is being cheated, because the insurance companies are basically hitting up those organizations, especially the high-rise concrete condos, that are not much of a problem in terms of a real disaster, but the single-family homes, of which we have 180,000 on Oahu, that can't even stand up to a Cat 1 hit by a hurricane direct to Oahu. Their rates are not going up anywhere as much as those in the condos, especially those in the high concrete condos. Now, why is this happening? So I talked to people like Sue Savio, who's the insurance guru for Hawaii. Her company handles more high-rise insurances than anybody else in Hawaii. I also talked to Bert Fuji, who is with Business Insurance. The problem mainly is that even though the Lahaina wildfire showed 695, according to the newspaper, is correct, insurance companies involved over there with the Lahaina disaster. Apparently for these concrete high-rise condos, where the poorest people in Hawaii tend to live, the ones that are not in the completely tear downs. Unfortunately, what happens is there's almost nobody in the insurance business for commercial like the high-rise condos. And I think what's happening is the politicians, and as you have read in the newspaper, the governor signed the emergency proclamation. to try, which I'm dead against, try to use 190 million that's in that hurricane insurance fund to somehow magically lessen the impact financially on the poorest segment of the people that are being negatively affected in the condos. Now, the reason I'm absolutely dead against rating the hurricane fund is because then we won't have anything once we do get hit by a bad hurricane, and I'm convinced we will be on this island. So what can be done about the situation, since everybody's afraid, given what's happened in Florida and California, where State Farm and Allstate have started refusing to renew any policies for those areas that have been the hardest hit by wildfires and hurricane. It's a really serious problem for everyone. But I just want to let you know, if you're like me, USAA, I got almost no increase in the premium on my house. But for the places like Pearl Ridge Square, not only did we have a 400% increase in our insurance premium, they also jacked up from 2% to 5% the hurricane deductible. And what that means for places like my townhouse, 2 townhouses in Makakilo, they now have over 1 million deductible. And believe me, the 87 owners of those units who live mainly paycheck to paycheck, there's no way that complex is ever going to be rebuilt once it gets wiped out badly by a hurricane. Because people are not going to be able to come up with a huge amount of deductible that are now being required by the insurance company. What I'm telling you is there's no good answers, but everybody needs to be very worried about how costly it's going to become. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Would you sign in? This is our.
Sure.
Great. A lot of good information. Yeah. Anyone else? Yes, Bob.
Very brief.
Sure. Would you take that back there so you can come up? Great.
Yeah, what the lady just said was about the insurance rates going up. I believe that a good approach is to have the governors, some kind of a task force, because that will impact everybody in the state, actually, I think, and it's not a just localized problem. And it could be catastrophic, for the people. For example, one approach would be for public housing. They have a fixed amount that they can pay up to every month, and that involves a lot of people. So the owners of the building are going to raise the rates, and if it goes beyond that amount, the people will just have to move out. So where are they going to go? These are people who are the lowest income on the island. So I really believe that this situation should be looked at with a task force and then presented to the governor. Hopefully he would be interested in that.
Great. Thank you, Bob. Okay.
Thanks.
So thank you very much for tuning in online and for y'all attending today. So we'll keep in touch and have a great day. Mahalo.
The 400 acres that the Navy gave to the city. I don't know.